Morning, everybody.
We got a low turn up, it doesn't matter. The A team are here.
It's much better than it might
Don't
be.
get the pictures over the side.
Okay, I'll keep this briefer than I normally do. What do you mean, thank God? I just want to say thank you first of all to Tony for letting us do this to his pub.
Always a pleasure.
Ex-Matlow, well, Jocelyn, sort of Matlow.
Sexy landlord, I prefer.
Yes, that's right.
There's Waterlooville has had a hero's pub for almost exactly 200 years. And the first one was built just a couple hundred yards down here at the junction of Hamwood Road and London Road. And it's very close to the spot where the heroes from Waterloo stopped on their way home after the battle. And the initial heroes down at the end there used to celebrate June the 18th every year following its opening. And it's no coincidence, of course, that we're here today on June the 18th, which is the 201st anniversary of the Battle of Waterloo. Gales Breweries acquired the pub in 1860, and as the century drew to a close, it was obvious that the heroes was in a ramshackle condition. Tony remembers it well, he was there at the time.
I was actually.
In the early 60s, Gales decided to build a new heroes, and they built it on this site, with the first point being pulled in 1966. I just want to say a few words about our duty unveiler today. Warrant Officer, ex-Warrant Officer, Yeoman Paul Saynor, who is today on a bit of a busman's holiday really, because he is the landlord of the Rose and June in Portsmouth. And it's a vibrant, it's a friendly, and it's a family-orientated local that has won the Community Pub of the Year status 3 times in the last 5 years. Well done for that. Paul joined the Navy in 1970, and following some misguided advice during new entry training at Mercury, decided to become a bunting.
Good man. Didn't want to go deep.
His first ship was HMS Abdil, and then he returned to Mercury in '74 for his Killick's course, joining HMS London on completion. In 1977, he had the good fortune to spend a couple of years in Naples on the staff of St. Nav South, and his intention was that following that draft, he would leave the Navy. However, believe it or not, during his leaving interview, he discovered he had passed his yeoman provisional course 2 years earlier, and no one had told him.
Good divisional work. Wasn't used communications.
He therefore signed on again and joined a yeoman's course, again at Mercury of course, and following his promotion he became an instructor at Mercury. There then followed in '81 a commission on the Diomede, firstly in the Persian Gulf and then down in the Falklands conflict, returning once again to Mercury in 1983. His next posting was to Northern Ireland for a year in an intelligence cell. Well, I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere.
I'm surprised you didn't come up with one.
He had spells on HMS Bristol, R&R London and FOF3 staff before taking up a position in the officers training section back at Mercury again in '91. Promoted warrant officer in '93, he joined Invincible as the ASCO. Shore drafts followed to Collingwood, Fost Plymouth and back to Collingwood again, where he was a mess president and the only communicator to ever hold that position. He left the Royal Navy in 2003 after 33 years of service. Paul has for some years been the chairman of the Royal Naval Communications Chiefs Association, an organisation that has a similar objective to our Blue Plaque scheme, in that it aims to keep alive the memory of the RN Communications Branch and HMS Mercury. Before I hand over to Paul, I'd like to present Tony with a memento of today, which I hope, it's a plaque of HMS Mercury, which I hope he will stick up in his pub.
There we go. Woo! Very good.
Give it up for Paul Saynor, please.
Well done, Tony. Well done.
Thanks, David. Right, I've only got a little bit to say. As you heard from Dave there, my career bounced me back to Mercury quite often, and in fact most times my short time was spent in Mercury doing different jobs, and therefore HMS Mercury itself holds a place dear to my heart. And it takes me back to some memories such as the Mercury Club and sneaking in through the petty officers entrance into the Mercury Club at lunchtimes on Sundays to watch Shep Woolley. Give us some of his dits and songs as he did and during the Sunday lunchtimes. And I'm pleased to say that Shep is still in contact with me, and he closes, and this is the dig and the plug, he closes my my charity folk and beer festival next weekend on Sunday afternoon. He does an hour-long stint for me to close it, as he has done for several years. So he's still pushing out those dits and those songs and the Ram It MRDP type things that you probably all remember. The other memory I've got of Mercury is driving up there at 4 o'clock in the morning on a Monday morning, having travelled from Yorkshire for a weekend, going up to see my what then was girlfriend, fiance, my wife now of 40 odd years, and getting back there, travelling all night because there wasn't any motorways apart from the M1, and driving in a little minivan. 391 GWY was the registration. I shall never forget it. And getting back there at 4 o'clock in the morning, driving up out of the clouds and the mist and up into the top end there, and grabbing a couple of hours kit before going back on course again. Of course, the other thing about Mercury is that it's known as our country club, and it will always stay in the memory as our country club, looking out on the Senior 8's mess over the hill, and even on good days seeing the Isle of Wight as far as you could. It was a great place to come. And the connection with Waterlooville, as with Petersfield, a lot of the guys used to come down into town here, and in fact my sportsmaker men's, in inverted commas, used to travel down this A3, and we quite often pop into the Heroes on the way to and the next boozer and enjoy the afternoon off. Of course, I also had I was at the Marry Patch in Lovedene, and myself and Mary used to come down into Waterlooville to do our shopping, and we'd call into the Heroes for a quick pint before going back home again. We only came to Waterlooville shopping because the cars I used to have were never guaranteed that they would get any further than Waterlooville. So Portsmouth was out anyway. So Mercury holds a good place in the community of Waterlooville, and indeed in the pub The Heroes here. And it's great that Tony has allowed us to continue with the Blue Plaque scheme, and I am really looking forward to going out on the first Blue Plaque trail when we've done the 12 total and troll off there. We might walk some of it, we might actually get a taxi or something for one place. But it is nice to be able to unveil this plaque today. And here we go.
Hey!
Ta-da! Thank you, Tony.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Right.
Well
Food is available at the pub. And the beer's on sale.
Yeah.
On sale, I might add. And England.